Right, so sometimes there's indentation errors in Python, but the Python interpreter doesn't really show you them. So if you have a look at this code here, we're setting two variables x and y to 1, and we've got a conditional saying if x equals 1, then print something out, if y equals 1, then print something out, and then finally go back to printing out again. So I guess what we're expecting here, because x is 1, is we'll get x is 1. We won't get that because y isn't 2. We will get that because that's lined up with that one. So we should get x is 1 and x is still 1. So let's try running that. Right, so it's not quite what we expected. So it's half of what we expected. So we got the x is 1, but we didn't get this one down here, which is a bit strange. So something strange is going on. Python's not giving us any errors or warnings or anything like that. It's just running, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So as an experiment, what I'll do is I'll try and change that y to 2 so that we can, oops, not 3, 2, so we can see if we can fire up this second conditional here. So let's try running that. So now we're expecting to get x equals 1 and y equals 2, and obviously we're still expecting to get that, but it didn't happen last time. So let's try running that again. So now we're actually getting everything. So as we expected, we're getting the y is 2 because y is 2 now. But for some reason, changing that to y is 2 has flipped this in. So this is now working, which is not what we expected. So this is an example of some indentation that's not how it appears. But Python isn't really helping very much. I'm telling you about that. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to turn on something that actually shows, so it's got showing visibles. So now we can see the indentation properly and see what's going on. So these little dots here, those are spaces. So that one's indented 4 spaces, that one's indented 4 spaces. That one's actually indented 8 spaces, which is what you'd expect, so it's a bit further in. But you can see this one, that little triangle there symbolises a tab. So what's actually happening here, which you can't normally see, but you can see now obviously, is that that's actually got a tab, not 4 spaces. It just happens that the tab, when you look at it by eye, it appears to be lining up with that one there. But actually, the tab is interpreted as 8 spaces. So this is why we're getting this strange behavior, or what seems like strange behavior. But Python's going, well, look, there's 8 spaces there, and hey, there's 8 spaces there. So I'm going to line those two prints up and say they're both underneath that conditional. So that's why when I turned on the y equals 2, they both light up and come out there. So there's mixed spaces there. We're using two different indentation methods. We're using spaces here and tab there, but Python isn't showing any kind of errors at all, which is not that helpful, is it really? So what we'll do is I can show you a way of making it show up. There's 2 ways really. The first thing I'm going to do is just get rid of all that because it's a bit difficult to see it when you've got that. There you go. So now we're back to where we were. So what you've got in Python, so I'm running Python 2.7 here, and you've got a -t switch that you can turn on there. So if I turn that on, and then I run this again, so it still runs, it doesn't fail, but what you do get is you get a warning message saying inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. In other words, we've got a mixture of tabs and spaces, but it does still run. So you might not want it to run, you might want it to completely fail. What you can do is you can put a double T there. So when you run that, it actually fails properly, so it doesn't run at all. You get a proper failure message. So that, I said there was 2 ways of seeing the error. That's one way of seeing the error there. The other way, which is probably an option for some people, is to actually not run Python 2.7 at all, because guess what? When you run it in Python 3.4, it actually doesn't allow you to do it at all, so it fails straight away. So it's not allowed in that version of the language. Well, I hope that was useful. It's one that's caught me out a few times. Obviously, ideally, we'd all run with the latest version of Python, but that's not always possible. Anyway, see you next time.